Hey, how y'all doing? Disclaimer before we get started. I watched all 11 movies, the 3 trilogies, and the 2 Star Wars stories, in the span of about 3 weeks. But I just want to say that this is all in good fun. I am not, super educated on Star Wars, and my opinions should be nothing more than mere entertainment and for funsies. So, the lack of representation. I don't like it. I don't want to keep seeing this feigned representation where it's like, oh, here, there's a black person, there's a Latinx person, there's a Asian person. Is that good? Okay, cool. And then just it's definitely improved over time, but there are still some issues that I have with it. For instance, 2 out of the 3 main characters of the last Star Wars trilogy, they were people of color, but I feel like their characters weren't focused on enough and didn't have as much depth as I wish they had. I think Finn is probably the best example of this, because in the first movie, episode 7, he is rejecting his status as a stormtrooper because he sees more for himself. He has morals and he doesn't want this life for himself. Helps Poe escape and starts off the trilogy, and it's honestly pretty amazing. And then after that, I feel like in episode 7 and 8 especially, he spends most of his time worrying about Rey.
Where's Rey? Where's Rey? Rey, I never told you Rey!
But I want him to have more than just worrying about someone else. I want him to have his own development. And I wish there was a story about him figuring out what his life was like before, like who his family was. And not even just that, but maybe talking about how the First Order and the Empire were just kidnapping children, as we saw in episode 8, I think, because he met another woman who had also been kidnapped as a baby or a kid and forced to be a stormtrooper and then escaped. And they didn't really focus on that. I think that if you're gonna market Finn and Poe as somewhat equal to Rey, you have to give them the same amount of screen time, development, character arc that Rey gets. And I just didn't feel like they gave that to him. John Boyega is an amazing actor, and he could have done so much more with the character if they had just let him. Rogue One is the best Star Wars movie. You hardly ever see Asian representation. It is so rare that when I see it, I am like, wow. But the disappointing thing was, this is a Star Wars story about how they stole the Death Star plans. And then they died. I do appreciate the representation and how far Star Wars has come by actually giving people of color roles and lines that matter. But watching them die in the end, or just being cast to the side as like a prop, I just hate it. Yeah, we need to do better. So that was like my mini rant about about representation in the media. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. But yeah, let's get into the next opinion. I hate the relationships. I hate them. Padme meets Anakin when he's 9. And he has a little bit of a crush on her. You can tell when he gives her that bracelet or necklace or something. I feel like little kids don't fully understand how relationships work, and they are just like, oh my gosh, like, you're so pretty, I like you. But nothing happens because obviously the adult in the situation is like, no, like, that's not gonna happen. Except I guess it's fine when 10 years later you meet again and they're of legal age, just barely. He's 19. She is like, yeah, that's fine. We can do that. And that's not to say that she didn't, like, definitely tell him no a bunch of times and he just did not listen to her, and it was super disgusting.
It's just not possible.
Anything is possible, Padme. Listen to me.
But, like, I think you can put up your defenses more, Padme. I think you can be like, no, like, I'm not doing that. I'm Natalie Portman, and I deserve better. Don't normalize, like, watching a kid grow up, or, like, even just seeing them later and being like, oh, hey, you grew up kind of attractive, and you're legal now, so I guess that's fine. No. I'm here to make a public declaration that is not fine. Luke and Leia, they're brother and sister, and they kiss multiple times. When they did it, they did not know. And I think that's fair. They had a weird history. Their dad's Darth Vader. You know, it's not your fault. However, it's the reactions that got me. When Luke finds out from Obi-Wan, I believe, that Leia's his sister, he just goes, oh, she's my sister. And not like, I kissed my sister. I had a crush on my sister and I didn't know. Nothing. He tells Leia in episode 6, Leia, I'm your brother. She literally goes, you're my brother. Oh my god, yeah, like, I knew it all along. So she felt the Force telling her, and I'm like, you felt the Force telling you and you still kissed him? But then it's like when they find out, they're so nonchalant about it that it makes me feel weird. The other thing is Han's reaction, like being like, oh, that's weird, but then immediately, he was like, oh wait, that means that I can bang her now, and it's just me. In the third trilogy, we're dealing with all 3 of the main characters having their own romantic situations, and it's weird. First, why did Rose kiss Finn at the end of episode 8? There was no romantic development there. It was Rose and Finn going on a side adventure to help the greater cause, and they had great banter and like little intimate moments, but friendly. They were friends. And then Poe sees Zori again and starts flirting with her. And first of all, I was like, sir, your boyfriend's right next to you. I'm talking about Finn. But other than that, it's like, you're in the middle of a war. Like, you also left her to fight the war. Like, you left her to join the resistance. Why are you flirting with her now? I don't understand. Rey and Ben. There's so many things. I don't understand why she kissed him. I think it could have been, oh, thank you for risking your life for me and sacrificing yourself, but that's just weird. You can hug someone, maybe even a fist bump. You don't need to kiss them. If their relationship was healthier, I would totally get them kissing at the end. There's one scene I really, really hated where he was telling her, this is when he was asking her to join him. He was like, you're nothing, your family didn't mean anything, they abandoned you, you're alone, but I'm here. I love you, so stay with me. And I was like, excuse me? I think Rey didn't really have those feelings towards him. So to kind of insinuate that she does near the end, after all of the shit that he put her through, is bonkers and not something that you should be promoting to an audience. So yeah. But the other thing is, if you're in the middle of the Star Wars, you're fighting against the Empire or the First Order, and you're formulating plans, you're putting your life on the line, and you're just trying to survive. Who in the world has the time for romance? If I'm in a war, I'm not thinking about that. Like, I might see Dave from engineering over there and be like, yo, Dave's pretty hot, but I'm not gonna ask Dave out on a date to the cafeteria and eat our rations. That's not what would happen, you know? The supporting characters are the best characters. The main characters would not be alive without them, and I love them so much. I realized as I was watching it more that the supporting characters were literally the only things keeping the main characters alive, because the main characters would just throw themselves into situations. They wouldn't really have a backup plan, and the supporting characters were expected to just like sacrifice themselves, come out of nowhere, and like save the day. In episode 8, when Finn and Rose are about to be executed and then that explosion happens, they just need a way to escape because everything's on fire. So of course BB-8 just comes in and saves the day. Luke, Leia, and Han are in this hallway where they are fighting off these stormtroopers, and I am sure as hell it is a straight ass hallway, and they're missing these stormtroopers, and it's like the stormtroopers are also missing them. So obviously they all suck, but how are you missing? I get if you're missing like a few times, but like that many times in a row is embarrassing. However, Chewbacca is like fighting off all of the stormtroopers and hitting them in 1 to 2 shots. So tell me that Chewbacca isn't the reason that they're alive. If he wasn't around, they would get their asses shot. They would be dead. It would be over. But Chewbacca is here. He actually knows how to aim a gun. Wookiees for the win. That's all I'm saying. Episode 6. The Ewoks. The Ewoks are the reason they won. All they have are their little sticks, and they're just beating up stormtroopers. These are stormtroopers with guns, and they're winning with their sticks. So yeah, Ewoks. My first one is Anakin, just as a character. So apparently he's Jesus, and that's just an accepted fact. As I mentioned earlier, I hated his relationship with Padme, mostly because Padme did reject him. But Mr. Anakin Skywalker, Mr. Intergalactic Fuckboy, doesn't know how to take no for an answer, and just kept going on and on about how he couldn't be in the same room as her, and he didn't want to like be without her. And the entire time I was like, just leave. He kills a bunch of kids. Why did you do that? Because a slimy old man told you to? That's not a good reason. He walked in there, he saw a kindergarten class, and he said, I don't care, and just pulled out his lightsaber and killed all of them. What? So my thing is, in the scene where Palpatine is convincing him to join the dark side, he's telling him that Padme's gonna die. Like, you know she's gonna die because you keep seeing visions of her. It's gonna happen. But I'm telling you right now that I can stop that from happening if you just join the dark side. That's like why he agrees to do everything, because he loves Padme. However, Padme instantly dies. And the doctor goes, oh, she came in here, her vitals were fine. However, she lost the will to live. bitch same. She died. And so it's like, what's your purpose of being there? And then lastly, an explosion happens or something, and he's about to die. And he's like on his deathbed. He's like, Luke, take off my helmet. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna die. I'm sorry. This man looks like an Alaskan bullworm. And it's like, I totally get that you went through all this turmoil. You've had a hard life. I watched you since episode 1. You were a slave, my dude. Like, and you were Jesus somehow. I don't know. But like, you look like an Alaskan bullworm. And I just can't get over it. So, in episode 7, when Finn and Rey are first introduced and they're on the Millennium Falcon, Rey is flying a ship for like the first time, and Finn is learning how to shoot off all of the stormtroopers. They have a moment after that is so cute and like so meta, of like freaking out that they're able to do this, that they're new to the business, they're new to the rebellion, and they're kicking ass.
That was some flying.
Thanks.
How did you do that?
I don't know.
No
I've
one
run some
trained you?
ships, but I've never
No
left
one?
the planet. Your last
That
ship
was
dead.
amazing.
Oh, you got it
You
with
set
one
me up for it.
blast.
That was pretty
perfect.
good.
The part where Luke is about to blow up the Jedi temple because he's so fed up with the Jedi, he realizes that he's being out of hand and stops himself. Yoda's spirit just comes out and says, bet, and blows it up for him. I love Yoda as a character. These are my hot takes on the Star Wars franchise. Jar Jar wasn't that bad. In episode 3, when he didn't show up until Padme's funeral, and even then did not say anything, I was confused. And this was because I didn't even know that he was a hated character. So, sorry, I'm a Jar Jar fan. I don't think all the Jedi were killed, besides Ben and Yoda in episode 3? Yeah, in episode 3. And here's why. All of the people that we saw on camera died. But here's my thing. Were they all there, though? Because as a Jedi, you know, you're still a person. What if the Jedi were, like, on vacation? What if they called in sick? What if they just skipped work or something? And then the kids, like, you could say, like, well, they were in class. No one has perfect attendance. What if Stephanie had a cold and she couldn't go to Jedi class today? But it's cool because Master Skywalker came in and murdered the rest of her class. You know? What if all the Jedi like weren't even like discovered yet? Because I feel like we need to learn more about the Jedi. But like, what if Kyle from accounting was able to do Jedi shit and he just wasn't practicing it? You don't know Kyle's life. What if he does it, you know, sometimes? I'm just saying. In episode 3, when Palpatine literally reveals himself to be, like, evil and for the dark side, he then goes to the Senate and tells them, hey, did you know that the Jedi were trying to take over? And all that stuff. And in this scene, this man looks evil. He looks like a worm that crawled out of the ground to cause chaos. He woke up and chose violence. All of them were like, yeah, that's right. We should listen to this guy. This guy. The Senate is dumb, and that's my proof that government doesn't work. Because if you can't see that that guy is evil, then I can't help you. There's not enough women in this franchise. Every single time they are in the shot or like they're mentioned or whatever, like they're either like sexualized or ogled over, and it's just so annoying. Obviously Carrie Fisher is very attractive and she's great, But she's more than that. She's a badass bitch and deserves to be treated as such. People kept referring to Rey as a girl or the girl. She has a name and she's literally kicking your ass, so you should learn it. Leave the women alone because they have shit to do. Okay, so that is my video. I hope that you enjoyed listening to me rant about Star Wars. I don't know how to end this. I hope the Force is with you, I guess. I don't know. Alright, have a good day. Bye!